Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Cruz, and I'm here today to train you on the ABA prompt hierarchy. Today's agenda, I will be defining what the ABA prompt hierarchy is. I will be defining what prompts are. I will be describing why we use prompts, and I will be describing when and where do we use prompts. I will also be providing you all with examples of the different types of prompts that ABA therapists use. So, what is the prompt hierarchy? Here is a visual of the prompt hierarchy. The prompt hierarchy refers to the order and different levels of support or prompting that can be used to help clients get the responses that are being asked of them. Prompts are the main activity utilized in applied behavioral analysis. In the field, it is frequently used. They are also used by everyday people, often without their knowledge. This applies to practice in every age group and in various stages of learning abilities. So, what are prompts? Practices known as prompts help clients and ordinary individuals in learning new skills that will increase their independence. Prompts help people in learning novel skills to later have the ability to practice them independently. They are closely related to antecedent practices in ABA, which work to stop particular behaviors from occurring. They're utilized to reduce negative reactions and increase the frequency of positive ones. So, why do we use prompts? Accurate responses from using prompts boost the chances of getting close to reinforcement for the response that the practitioner wishes to see. In conjunction with the discriminative stimulus or instructional cue, it develops the desired behavior. This means that when teaching someone with a disorder a skill, prompts are particularly helpful. The patient benefits from a greater understanding of the appropriate reaction and how it will ultimately help them reach their goals. Studies frequently highlight how cues reduce aggravation while learning difficult tasks. Error reduction might also lessen the likelihood of particular actions. So, when are prompts used? When ABA therapists use prompts, the ultimate goal is using the prompt that's the least intrusive to the student in order to get them to reach their goal. The types of prompts an ABA therapist will use can change according to different sets of factors, such as the environment of the patient. The prompts must be carefully chosen so that they know which will help the individual the most. There are circumstances where a therapist will use a prompt only if the patient provides an unfavorable response to it. The prompt could also be provided if the client cannot give the correct answer to a certain subject within a set time frame. To successfully use prompts, an ABA therapist begins by pinpointing the behavior they wish to target. Once that's done, the best prompts for it are chosen. The order usually begins with prompting first, reinforcing second, and fading last. So let's take a look at most to least prompting. Here is the prompt hierarchy, and we're going to be looking at it from the most intrusive prompt to the least. Most to least prompting, we would use this type of prompting for teaching the child new skills. It can be helpful when the child doesn't respond to less intrusive prompts, like he or she cannot understand verbal prompts due to severe receptive language impairments, or when the client makes frequent errors with less intrusive prompts. Now here's the opposite of that. This is least to most prompting. So again, here is our prompt hierarchy. And here we would be using the least intrusive prompt. And then we would go step by step to a full physical. So least to most prompting, also known as prompting hierarchy, learners are giving a verbal instruction followed by successively more intrusive prompts if they fail to respond accurately. The verbal prompt is followed by a model prompt in which learners are shown the correct answer, and if they do not respond or respond incorrectly, They are physically guided to answer correctly. With this model, learners are not typically given the opportunity to respond independently to determine if they can do the task on their own. Thus, this approach encourages prompt dependency, particularly to the model prompt. Now, I will review all of the different types of ABA prompts used. To begin with physical prompts. This is the most intrusive type of prompt. A physical prompt includes physically guiding or touching the client to help them use this target behavior or skill. This may include hand-over-hand assistance. What's great about physical prompts is that it can be systematically faded as the client learns the skill. Let's take a look at an example. As you can see, the instructor provided the SD, trace the C, and she immediately goes with the full physical prompt, and she's using hand-over-hand guidance here. She is not only helping the learner complete the task appropriately, but also allowing him to do it without erroring. Now, let's take a look at model prompts. A model prompt teaches a student what should be done before they carry out the task. This is useful when taking in new social abilities. Appropriate social actions can be modeled through their peers or staff, which are copied by the student when they see someone else perform an activity. So let's take a look at an example of a model prompt. As you can see here, the instructor first modeled sweeping and the learner was watching and then provided the SD, you do it, and the learner then imitated the instructor. The next type of prompt that I will be covering is a visual prompt. A visual prompt is when an instructor uses a picture or other two-dimensional representations, so words, symbols, to encourage participation. There are picture cues shown to the client, which provides information about a correct answer. Visual prompts may and can include pictures or actual physical objects. So let's take a look at an example of a visual prompt. Great. So here in that video, you saw the therapist ask who cleans your teeth, and she immediately provided the learner with a visual prompt, a picture of the dentist, and this provided the learner with the correct response and without allowing him to error. The next type of prompt that I will be covering are verbal prompts. Verbal prompts are direct statements told to a learner by an instructor or adult. This can be provided verbally or spoken as words, phrases, or sentences. This can include telling the learner the answer, giving a verbal cue such as the beginning sound of an answer, or repeating a verbal direction more than once. Verbal prompts can also be provided in a written manner. They include hints, commands, questions, or even rule statements. Verbal prompts are often used as a final device for prompting, since verbal prompts are more challenging for the teacher to fade from, especially for younger learners. Let's take a look at an example of a verbal prompt. Here, the instructor provided the verbal prompt, go put your coat on, And here, the instructor is teaching the learner how to get dressed using verbal prompts. And lastly, our last type of prompt that I will be covering is a gestural prompt. Gestural prompts are when someone shows what the right response is to give to any given instruction from an instructor or therapist. Gesture prompts are easily foldable, particularly through using time delays or moving one's hand or finger gradually away from an object. Gestural prompts can be a point, hand gesture, or head nod to encourage participation, normally prompted by a natural cue. Some examples could be when helping a child brush his teeth, you can give him or her the toothpaste bottle and point to the toothbrush. Another example is giving a client a book and say, put the book away while gesturing towards a bookshelf. And here we can take a look at another example. Here, the therapist provided the SD, put away the blocks, and immediately pointed to the blocks and the box where the girl should be putting the blocks away. This is teaching cleaning without providing any verbal or physical prompts. To wrap things up, the prompt hierarchy refers to the order and different levels of support or prompting that can be used to help clients get the responses that are being asked of them. Prompt levels are individualized to the client and are chosen carefully to ensure that the client is comfortable but also benefits from the prompt. Levels chosen for the prompts are chosen individually and are always thought out to provide our clients and learners with the best opportunities to learn. Thank you for being here today, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And